Welcome back to the show. And we're going to be discussing an important topic that affects our lives. Um, we went through this, the first half of 2022 with many constraints, many challenges, and we're halfway through the year. But we need to ask ourselves, how do we go through the second half of the year and change that narrative and transform ourselves so that we can reflect, retrospect, reconnect, and change the space that we're in into a better one. And nobody better to help us with the situation and giving us good guidance is Sister Razia Mohammed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me on air, Nafisa. Wonderful
So,
to chat to you again.
yes, and I was definitely looking forward to the segment. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us to be able to, I think, change people's mindsets, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, Razia, people are realizing that they have the power to transform their lives and live authentically. But this realization is only going to come from that positive mindset. And many a times, and I think COVID-19 has, as should we say, escalated that negativity in people in many directions due to the challenges that they faced in their lives, each one having their own form of challenge. What sort of advice would you give these people? Because the thing is, when I reach out to so many people on a daily basis and I chat to people, and you look at them, you literally see that negativity still stuck within their system, and they don't know really where to start to be able to transform their lives and change it. Whereas others actually have. So let's talk. Let's try and help those that are in the space that haven't yet done that.
Yes, you are so right when you say that COVID has really changed our sense of normal. So, for want of a better term, it's now a new normal. And people all around are running helter skelter, wondering what happened to the life that they once knew. And it's up to people like us to then install that positivity, that vibe again, that zest for life. So it's
Mm,
all about waking up in the morning and making sure that you wake up on that positive note. Remember, you come alone, you go alone. In between are the choices that you make that direct the direction of your life. So
mm,
we're fortunate in the sense that we have an outlet, I would say, where we would wake up in the morning and connect with our Creator, and
mm,
that is when you would start that day on a positive note, understand that there is a higher being, express so much of gratitude. That's
mm.
so important because when you're expressing that gratitude, you're kind of looking at life not even half full or half empty, but
Mm.
making sure that you know that there is even a glass.
Mm,
And
I
when it's
so
all
I so
about
agree with you there. And interesting that you brought up the word because you took the words away from me. I was actually going to talk about the word gratitude because when you wake up in the morning, I think the first thing that we need to do, and as you said, is to be grateful for the things we have as opposed to the things that we don't, and to look at the space we're in compared to others, and say, you know what. Shukr to the Almighty that we have that many things, and should we say that many? Let's look at the peaceful side of it too. I mean, I know a lot of us have challenges, and our lives are not peaceful all the time. But unfortunately, I think that's one thing we need to understand: is life is a roller coaster ride, and it's how we ride that matters.
absolutely. And we are so conditioned as humans to look at what we don't have and to complain about what we don't have and not overlook all of the bounties that we do have, in fact, that make us more fortunate beings. And also, it's about also very much your vibe attracting your tribe. So the
Mm,
people, look at the first five people that you spend most of your time with. Those are the
mhm,
people that you are going to be most like. So if
mm,
you are
mm.
spending time with people of a very negative mindset, that is how you are eventually going to turn out, no matter how positive you are. So your vibe
Mm,
definitely affects your tribe. And also, I like to say it's about living life with humor. So when I
mm,
say living life with humor, it's just taking the positive out of everything and looking at the lighter side of life with
mm,
everything. And in a very big thing, journaling. You know, I'm such a big
mm.
fan of writing, of journaling, of putting down your thoughts, putting pen to paper. We now so much in this technological age where, it's all about clicking, clicking, clicking. But when you write, I believe that it kind of sticks in your mind. And then
You know,
also,
you're so relatively right with that, because that's what I do. Is when you're feeling a certain feeling, the better way to do it is to write it down. And then I always say, if you have a negative thought, write it down, tear it up, throw it away, and it's like it's out of your mind now. It's not there. It's something that you decided, I just need to do away with it.
absolutely. And it's also about when you write, you kind of identify your triggers. So
Mm,
your triggers are the things that keep you back. So we all a product of our childhood, right? Our childhood experiences and
mm,
circumstances. And that
mm,
shapes us into who we become. It's only when we become self-aware that we realize that those triggers are something that we can deal with, and it will be positive and progressive for us if we do so. And
mm.
writing and journaling definitely helps with the triggers. Also,
Yeah.
when or else fails, seeking professional help. That is
Mm.
always the best.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, because the thing is, people like yourselves, as I said when I started off, become the support structures where you kind of guide people into the right way. Because, I mean, as we know, I spoke earlier about COVID-19, and in many stages,
Yes,
we see that it's, taken people off their track. It's like, I look at ourselves like a little train where we literally off our tracks and we need to find our way back. How do we achieve those goals? Because,
absolutely.
I think it becomes so difficult when one is sidelined, and many people are not resilient, in the sense to say, you know what, this should be a learning curve, and ask ourselves, how do we change that for the better? So, what sort of advice would you give people as far as that is concerned?
Social media is so flooded with, with manifestation and with spirituality and with this whole thing about goal setting,
Mm,
etc. And then it kind of gives you that idealistic way that things are supposed to happen immediately, and
mm,
and and that's how it will work. So I would say it's a slow, steady, gradual process. So if you have a goal, for example, right?
yes.
I would say that set a timeline. So, for example, hypothetically, it's about losing 5 kilos in a certain amount of time. So, 5 kilograms in 1 year, in 5 years, in 6 months. When?
Mm,
So, it's about setting a timeline for your goal so that it is easily attainable. And then a big thing is to be accountable. So set
mm,
accountability for your actions. So,
mm,
so have the mindset that every action has a reaction, and also every action has a consequence. So that
mm,
will keep you on track with your goals. And then, as we say, the manifestation mindset, remember, what you believe you are, and
mm,
that is what you become. So if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. Either way, you are right because you know yourself best, right? And
mm-hmm.
it's so much about practicing self compassion.
Right.
We conditioned as well to always worry about the next person, not realizing that you are the first person that you need to be taking care of. Because as we always hear, you can't pour from an empty cup. So even
Mm,
when it comes to goal setting, if you have an empty cup, then your words are just words with no
that is so
meaning.
true. I agree with you there. I mean, because the thing is, at the end of the day, what happens is, as you were saying, we tend to derail ourselves, and we need to sit down. And I always use three words on my show, which is reflect, retrospect, and reconnect. And I think these three words fall very much into what we're talking about at this point in time, is to sit down and ask ourselves, where have we been? What challenges have we faced? How we can overcome it, and then reconnect, of course, mainly with other people and with ourselves, and of course with the Almighty. And I think those three things, words, will actually change the way we see things.
And then also, those three words that you have chosen are so relevant to today's times, rather with COVID. So
Mm,
it's all about reconnecting again to that authentic self that you have.
mm,
So reinventing, but then reconnecting to your authentic self. Because remember, your authentic self doesn't change. It's about
mm.
you just finding that person again. And that's how you will manifest your goals faster.
That's true. What methods can we put into place to overcome obstacles? And, obstacles that threaten us, they derail us, because we have still 6 months left towards the end of the year. And as I said, our first 6 months, each one, I can say in their own sphere and their space, have faced so many challenges, but don't know how to find themselves. Let's put it that way. And that is why I use those three words, because you find people are stuck, and many people that I speak to, they say, where to from here? I don't even know how to start.
And it's very much about realizing that you don't actually need to find yourself because your authentic self is there already. It's just about you reconnecting, plugging into your authentic self. So, with the obstacles, I like to think of it as when you build a house.
Hmm.
So, very much you need your cement, you need your water, you need to build your foundation. That is so very, very important. And then you need to go with your bricks and then you need to beautify that place. So when you have obstacles, then you're faced with anxiety, you're faced with stress,
Mm.
you're faced with all
Um,
of those negative feelings.
that's so true. The anxiety levels have increased. Rizia, just give me 2 minutes. We're going to go into a quick break, and then we can talk about those, how to overcome those obstacles.
Okay.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Hunger ratios in South Africa are on an upward trajectory since the beginning of COVID 19. Over 23% of South African households experienced hunger last summer. At Sanzaf, we aim to ease the hunger struggles of those in need by providing freshly prepared meals daily. You can be part of this by donating towards the Sanzaf Meals Project. Visit sanzaf.org.za or call us on 011 834 6046. Sanzaf, changing lives through development and relief.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
The Syrian crisis has raged for over 4,000 days. 4,000 days of suffering, displacement, hunger, and intolerable insecurity. With your help, Islamic Relief can continue to stand alongside them. Never has your support been so important. Together, we can stand with the Syrian people. We can help them build a better future. Will you continue to stand with the people of Syria? Please, donate now.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
Sister Razia Mohammed, a transformation and life coach, on how to pen out the second half of our year in a better way and how we can transform it into a more positive version. Welcome back. As before we left, we were talking about overcoming our obstacles and realizing that we shouldn't let this hold us back, but find a way to go forward. So this is the type of advice we needed for you for the next half of the year. How do we move ourselves forward?
As we said before the break, it's much about thinking about the analogy of building a house. So when your
Mm-hmm.
foundation is not strong enough, eventually the house will crumble. There will be problems all around because the foundation hasn't been laid down properly. So it's very
Mm-hmm.
much about laying down that foundation in life so that you have realistic ways of dealing with obstacles head on. As I face it head on and break down your tasks into small little tasks. So, for example, if you want to achieve something that is big in your career, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't look at the end goal. Break it down into smaller tasks, and then it becomes more attainable and achievable inside of your head. So,
Mm.
nothing can be achieved from that anxious and stressful mindset. You, you, we don't understand how much power a calm mindset has. So when you're operating from a calm mindset, you are able to make positive and progressive choices, rather. So it's about feeling your feelings. It's about
Mm-hmm.
thinking. It's about thinking big, not playing small, because the mind is limitless. The
Right.
limit is not in the mind. The barriers are not in the mind. It's about you and breaking those feelings and
Mm.
realizing that the obstacles are just there for you as a test. And it's about you and your own mindset and what it is that you're going to do that's going to overcome those obstacles. So think with a calm mind,
Mm-hmm.
process your emotions, break down tasks into small little tasks so that you are able to efficiently complete these tasks.
Mm. That has definitely given us some good food for thought. You're right with what you said. What message would you like to leave our viewers with this morning? I think it's imperative for them to get changed, should we say, into a positive way, for them to understand that if they're positive, then as you were saying, their focus is there. And when your focus is there, you can attain anything you want in life.
I would say, as we know, with the 2.5 to 3 years that the world has experienced, your greatest wealth is health. So it's
Mm.
all about looking after your health before anything else. Because no matter what you achieve, if you don't have health, you will not be able to enjoy anything else. And then it's also about setting boundaries, about having that self awareness, self
Mm.
respect, self love for yourself so you're able to set those boundaries. Take frequent breaks and realize that um, enjoy your life. Live life
Mm.
as an observer because I like to say that you don't get out alive anyway.
Mm.
So at the end of it all, if you have to speak to someone that's on their deathbed that has lived a full, long life, what they will tell you is if they could live it again, they would not take life too seriously.
Yeah, you're so
And
right.
it's about
You have definitely given us such good food for thought, Sister Razia, and it also teaches us that life is short and we only have one life. So we need to grab everything by the horns, take up the opportunities, and do everything that we can do to bring out the best version in ourselves first before we do it in others.
absolutely well said. Yes.
Thank you so
So
much
that's
for
what
joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Nafisa.
It was
Thank
an
you.
absolute pleasure. I'm hoping we could catch up at some point. I know haven't had much time, but it's definitely been a very insightful conversation, and I'm hoping that it's educated our viewers in many directions to be able to change their narratives for the next 6 months. And I'm hoping we can tap into it again and see maybe what sort of research see has this helped in any way. And of course, as you said, it's all about mindset, and I think that's what we need to pen on and look at also people's mental health going forward. So, Jazakallah so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I want to thank you.
Jazakallah to you, Nafisa, and to Salam Media. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah bless you. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was Sister Razia Mohammed giving us some insight on how to overcome our challenges and look forward to the next half of the year and change the narrative of ourselves first before we do it with others. And talking about that, I want to leave you with some food for thought. It says, you can create any result when you have a strong mind. Obstacles and challenges will still come, but they will disappear when faced with a strong mentality. Work on your mental game first. Become unbreakable inside your mind, inside your heart. Do the work on you so that no circumstances can break your spirit. And that's what it's all about. From myself and the team, Jazakallah so much for joining us today to be able to entice you into better spaces, better places, and wishing you a wonderful, positive week going forward. From myself and the team, lots of love, lots of du'as. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.